Ooh. Good evening, everybody, and how are we all doing today? This is another Sunday night live here in the Podding Shed, and as you can probably tell, I'm not on my own. I have Amanda with me this evening. She's joined me because she's not on the phone to her dad, basically. How are we all doing today? Hope you are well and you've had a great week. What we're going to be talking about today is what plant will you never grow again and why. We'll get into that in just a moment. First of all, let's see if anybody is out there. And straight away, yep, Ballycillian is saying good evening to you. Good evening to you. Adrian is saying hello. Good evening to you. Oracle is out there as well and saying hello to everyone. Who else have we got? Turbo Streamers out there. Good evening, Veg Podcasters. Good evening to you. Idaho Gone Girl is out there. Good evening, Richard, Oracle, Ballycillian, Turbo Stream, Adrian, and everybody else. Anna Jones is out there saying good evening to the gardeners. Good evening to you. Hargrave Gas is out there. Evening, everyone. Hope you've had a good week. Looking forward to another interesting chat. Let's hope it is an interesting chat this week. Andrew Norris has joined us. Good evening to Croatia. How are you doing out there? Digwell, hi team. What's the score? Is there a match on or something that you know of?
Sometimes isn't what the score like, hey, how you doing?
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Somebody in the Facebook group is saying hi, Veg Army. Unfortunately, if you're in the Facebook group, I may not see who you are and you may not see all my comments, just the way Facebook works. But if you can just let us know who you are at the end of your message so I can address you personally, that would be great. And they say hi to Amanda as well. This mysterious person, not sure who it is.
Like an air of mystery.
Stuart Jackson is out there. Good evening, Richard, Amanda, and the Veg Army. Good evening to you. Andrew is saying, nice to see you both today, but where is Roxy? We're trying to train her to be on her own a little bit more. It's difficult because Amanda's always working from home, but we're trying to just get her to be a little bit less. She doesn't actually mind being on her own, but she loves being around us, and we're just trying to get her.
And she's tired today.
And she's tired today, which is a good chance to try it out. Richard Golding, hello, you too. Good evening to you. Alice McGowan, hi, good to see you. Mr. Few, pleased to catch tonight's show. We're lovely for you to see you as well. Digwell says, wake up, Richard. Yeah, I'm sure I did something wrong there. It's Kate Spratt in the Facebook group. Thank you. Unfortunately, it's not easy to see who it is. Anybody else? Jenny Hullett is there saying, hello, everyone. I'm here, but may leave early. I'm struggling with COVID for
Ooh.
a second time. Feel rubbish. Hope you're all well. Great to see you, Amanda. Hope you take it easy and you drink lots of Lemsip and to look after yourself. I've only had it once and it wasn't pleasant.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Stuart Jackson, nice to see that the boss is in the house. Yeah. So I think that is everybody, or the roll call, as we sometimes call it, taken care of. So we've got a few things to go through tonight, but the overall conversation is running around this question that I'm asking is, what plant would you never grow again and why? And I've made a list of a few plants that I feel we would probably never grow again and why. But I want to hear your answers to that. Or should I say, I would never grow again and why? But to kick it off, the first one I've got on the list is globe artichoke. And that face, it tells you exactly why. Now, I actually quite like the plant. I found it to be very architectural. I grew it by, well, it grows on my allotment and it was planted there previously and I cannot get rid of it at the moment. But what we struggle with it is that we have difficulty trying to eat it in that we find it a bit too much of a faff. You're not keen on it, on the
Is
flavour and
that the
everything.
big thing or the little ones?
The big, like, flower bud.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other ones. The little artichoke things.
Oh, you're thinking of Jerusalem artichokes.
I'm
Which-
just not keen on artichokes, I think.
No, not clean. We definitely. I like Jerusalem artichokes, but they do have a bit of an effect, and put it politely.
Yeah.
But the globe artichokes, we've just struggled to try and find a way that we can actually cook them and enjoy them. Found them to be a bit of a faff, a lot of work when you harvest these flower buds, trying to peel them off, scoop out the flowery inside just to get the fleshy bits. Or there's the 70s ways where you would pick bits off and dip it in butter and suck it out. Tried all that and we just could not for the life of us get onto it. And for that very reason, that reason alone is why I'm looking to get rid of my globe artichoke plant and never grow it again. My opinion on that might change, but at this present moment in time, that's where I stand. So what's everybody saying? A lot of people are just saying take it easy to Jenny, which is absolutely right. Adrian says, I last tasted globes in the 70s after my father grew them and hated it. Never again. So that's somebody similar to us. I mean, I won't say I hated it. I just found it too much of a faff. Gary Phillip has joined. Lovely to see you, buddy. Hope you are well. Turbo Stream. After last year, I will probably not grow courgettes again after they cross-pollinated. Now, I think that's a bit of a fear factor. Cross-pollination, Amanda doesn't know this, but there was a thing, was it last year and the year before, where courgettes were cross-pollinated at the seed stage and they ended up poisoning people.
Oh, I remember that.
So a lot of people are scared of growing it, but courgettes, I think we've got to grow courgettes. We've had some today actually, haven't we?
I love courgette.
They're such an essential thing, but I do get why you're worried about it because I know it made you quite ill when it happened to you, which is unfortunate. Turbo Stream, but don't forget it. Don't give up on it. Oh, this mouse is playing around. Idaho Garden Girl is saying, I like globe artichokes. I like the plant and I enjoy eating it, but it's just too difficult to grow here. It doesn't survive the winter. Yeah, see, ours dies back sort of autumn and starts to grow again. And it'll start growing again right at this moment. I've got to clear it away, but I like the plant. I do like the plant because it's a nice big architectural plant, but because I only grow stuff that we can eat. It doesn't really fall into that statement. But yeah, anybody else has anything or a plant that they would never grow again and why. Phone line is open 07307 135 174. Haven't actually tried calling it to make sure it's working this week. So fingers crossed it is working. Only one way to find out, and that's to give us a call. Adrian says he really likes Jerusalem artichokes. So
I like them. I just don't like the bit later on.
the fartichoke side. Adrian says the globe plant does look good. I agree. Anna Jones says, I grew soya beans once. The beans that grew were lovely, but very poor yield compared to other beans. As they don't have much space, I wouldn't grow them again. Now that's interesting. I think I've got some soya bean seeds somewhere. I've never actually tried growing soya beans. Is that the type of thing you would eat, dear?
I don't know. Probably.
Don't know. I've never eaten them myself.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to think, have I or haven't I? It's one of those things that gets hidden, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's where you get a lot of vegan, vegetarian things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd rather you grew edamame beans.
Edamame beans, yeah. We eat lots of those actually. Digwell says 2020-21 was the courgette scandal, but all you need to do is take the tiniest taste of the courgette before cooking it. If it tastes bitter, bin it. Absolutely right. I think that's a good thing to try and do with any courgettes. I mean, it could happen just if you've got courgettes growing in a garden and they're cross-pollinated with your neighbour's butternut squash or something.
I didn't do any of that before I cooked them.
No, because I know ours are okay. It's very, very rare. I mean, what happened there is a chemical, cucurbitine or something it's called. It's always found in courgettes, but it was just much higher level in this. So that's where the problem that began. Turbo Extreme says he wasn't fussed by courgettes the previous years. Please do give them a try again. I like courgettes, so I'm gonna stick up for them. Stuart Jackson, asparagus would be the one veg I would not grow as I have a small veg garden and it takes up far too much room. That's a fair point, actually. I mean, I love asparagus. We do grow asparagus down on the allotment, and it does take up a bed all year round, and you get very little in the way of veg from it. But the veg that we do get is absolutely delicious, in my opinion. And I find we get enough of it for it to be worthwhile. Don't you think, dear, when you eat it?
Yeah, but I agree. You don't get a lot of it.
No, and it's a very short period as well.
But
so
then I always see it as one of those luxury vegetables.
Yeah. Jenny says, I will not grow asparagus pea again. Not great and a waste of bed space.
Is that different to asparagus?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's meant to taste of asparagus, but it's more like a pea. I did actually a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly, was it last year, 2021? I sent it out in the supporters club and we grew it. And a lot of people have been raving about it. I quite like the look of it, but I don't think we actually got any asparagus pea from it.
Oh, I never had any.
No, I don't think we did. And if we did, it was a very small amount. But a lot of people did sort of say to me they wouldn't bother with that again. So I've never revisited that. I might try it again next year if I've still got some seeds, which I probably do somewhere. Digwell, 2 invasives will take up needed space. Borage, calendula, cosmos, sunflowers, and globe artichokes. I agree with you about the globe artichokes. They do take up space and we don't get much for them. I don't personally mind them taking up space, providing we get enough food from them, but globe artichokes. Sunflowers, however, go on.
I watched something on Instagram and I was a bit surprised that they chopped the head off the top of a sunflower, dipped it in butter,
Yeah,
and then cooked it and then ate it.
yeah. I've seen that.
I was like, can you do that?
Yes, I mean sunflower seeds are edible, and I remember you showing me that. I've never tried it myself, but sunflower, we could make sunflower oil out of it.
The head, the whole thing. I was quite surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting choices there, Digwell. Hargrave Gas. I'm not sure I will never grow again, but I have so many Sues with cauliflowers and usually end up with no real heads. So they are something I'm not rushing to grow next year. Funny enough, I've been writing and doing some research on cauliflowers lately because they are a tricky one to grow. They're one of the hardest vegetables I feel to grow. And for me, I feel the secret is to sow them towards around this sort of time, October, and grow them over the winter. And you tend to have, or I find, a bit more success growing cauliflowers because it's the heat of the summer that tends to lead them to bolt, I think, anyway, or for my experiments, I found. Um, you don't know anything on that. No good
No,
asking
I've got
her.
nothing to ask.
Lynn B is joined. Good evening to you. You know, Lynn
I
from the
do.
Vault Explorer Walks. We go on. Andrew Norris is sharing with Turbo Stream. Grated courgette, an egg and flour, fried like little pancakes are wonderful. Absolutely right. I think we've done something like that, haven't we?
Yeah, but you can also do one that you grate the courgette, the carrot, I think an onion, some eggs, some flour, but you add oats to it and it turns into a really nice flapjack.
Yes, I do vaguely
That was
remember
really
that.
good. And I
Yeah,
think there's
yeah,
cheese involved.
yeah. Turbo Stream says another one I won't be growing are turnips. Absolutely horrible taste. Yuck.
Love turnips. No, I'm thinking parsnips.
No, you're thinking of parsnips. I've got to admit, I found when we have grown turnips, they're a bit like meh.
Oh, they're the small things we get.
They're fairly small. They bit like. I mean, I quite like kohlrabi in comparison, but turnips, I still grow them, so they're not on my list, but they were a bit. It's the only way I can describe it. Non-descriptive.
Sorry, I just saw the nips and I thought parsnips.
Yeah, of course you did.
Love good parsnips.
Ian says, "Hi, Richard and Amanda. I must email you about trip up to me. Cheers, Ian." Yes. We want to come and see you. Let's sort something out. Adrian, I wouldn't like to grow stinging nettles again. Joke. Yeah.
I like nettle tea.
Nettle soup can be quite nice as well. So I'm going to disregard that.
Please don't make that.
Well, nettle soup. Oh, okay, I won't do it then. I think the battery's going in this mouse, you know. What else have we got? Ballycillion is another one for asparagus peas. So quite a few people really didn't like asparagus peas, so I won't be doing that again. Digwell, I didn't see any negative reviews on them until they were growing them everywhere. I looked, it was negative. They were right. Live and learn, I guess. What was that? What have I missed? What did Digwell say about that? The asparagus pea. I think that's talking about. Yeah, I think asparagus pea does seem to be one. Stuart Jackson again. Asparagus pea didn't much like the taste.
Yeah, please don't do that again. But look at
Turbo Stream. My plot is covered in calendula. I love the flowers, but they spring up everywhere. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that personally. We've had that with this mustard that I grew last year. I only grew 2 plants, but I left it to flower, and it seeded all over this entire bed. And we've been getting quite a bit of mustard out of it. The chickens have been getting plenty of these mustard leaves out of it as well. And it's smothered any other weed. So it's been quite good for that. But that's been an exception to the rule. Calendula, again, that does happen quite often with marigolds, in other words.
Thank you.
So making it easy for the non-gardener here. But yeah, when they flower everywhere, I personally don't mind them when they spring up everywhere, provided it can be controlled. The mustard this year is going to have to go and hopefully not get so much next year. Adrian says, my father said as nice as the peas were, he would not grow again as not that expensive in shops and took up the room. Peas. Yeah, normal peas. Not being that expensive. I mean, it's like carrots. Carrots are quite cheap to buy, but when you grow your own, they taste so much better. So, yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Horses for courses, isn't it? If you've got plenty of room, we probably do have plenty of room. So I will grow those sort of things. But yeah, fair enough. Jenny says, I've sown loads of calendula, love them. So I sow loads of calendula, borage, etc. But I do use them in my beds to help against pests. I don't use nets, etc. Absolutely, absolutely. Hargrave Gas said that should have been issues with cauliflowers, not Sue's with.
that.
Yeah, I thought that as well. Um, Kate says celery, tried seeds and plugs, failed miserably. Celery is another one that's incredibly hard to grow. We've got it grown in our garden at the moment. It needs, and I'm surprised it survived this long actually with how dry it's been this year. Celery needs a lot of water. It is a marine plant almost. It's such a lot of water. Gone real like what's her name there?
A lot of
Lola,
water.
Lola, Lola. No, but I can't think of her name. I'm
I
saying
just
that.
always wonder if it's stringy.
Well, celery can be quite stringy. Yeah, yeah. Ian Beddoes has joined. Evening to both of you. Where's Roxy? Roxy is indoors because we're training her to be on her own for a little bit more.
And she's sleepy.
And she's sleepy. Turbo Stream says, I sowed some of the all year round cauliflower this week. Fantastic. Fantastic. We will be sowing seeds in a moment as well. Anna Jones says, I wouldn't grow coriander or cilantro again. I love the seeds in carrot and coriander soup, but the leaves really do smell awful. So you're not keen on coriander, are you?
No, I like it now.
But you do, yeah. There is.
Hated it.
When it comes to coriander, there is something that scientists say that you are maybe biologically, or whatever it may be called, to whether you like coriander or not. Something to do with your biologics or the DNA as to why you like coriander or not. To some people, it tastes like soap. Doesn't taste that way to me. It is down to your DNA. Apparently, I'm no scientist. It's just what I've heard.
Same with Marmite.
I don't know, Marmite. Possibly. Graham Arnold has joined. Good evening to you. And Nicola Cornish Heaven has also joined. Sorry, I'm late to the party. Well, lovely to see you anyway. Ballycillian, on its own, no, but I like turnip mashed along with potato. Fair enough. Idaho Garden Girl, best cauliflower I have ever grown when neglected seedlings. Finally transplanted in fall, I thought they died over winter, but it began greening up in spring and ended up making a nice head. That kind of summarizes what I was saying, that growing them over winter, they seem to do a lot better than sowing them in the middle of the summer, which isn't surprising at all. Oh, crikey. Got quite a few comments come through. So where did we?
There.
Turbo Stream says, my compost bin is full of calendula plants now. I will be more ruthless and try and confine them to my flower bed next year. Makes good compost material is what I say to that. We all need lots of compost material, although our neighbour's climber climbs over our fence and everywhere does provide us with lots of material. Ian, what would the grandkids pick if I didn't grow peas? Weeds. Yeah, get them to pick the weeds. Good answer. Adrian says cauliflower always goes to seed. They're one of the hardest ones to grow, but I think if you grow them over the winter, you have more luck. Brian's Garden and Polly Tanner has joined. Good evening to you. Lovely to see you. Cilla Black, that's who I was thinking of when I was saying a la 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 la.
That's a Laura.
Laura. That's
Lordy.
yeah.
No wonder I didn't know.
Yeah, sorry. Digwell says, don't like the taste. Kale. I like kale.
I like it when you do it in the oven and it's
crunchy.
crunchy.
Yeah. Mini bell tomatoes. I'm with you on the mini bell tomatoes. I've grown them this year. They were the small ones we've had on the kitchen worktop and in the just outside here. Tiny little tomatoes. They were tough skinned. They were not pleasant at all. Herba Stella. I've never heard of that. Rocket. I quite like rocket. We grow a lot of rocket. Heritage peas in general. They stopped being popular for a reason. Perillia Seashow Green. I grew that last year. I think I sent that out as a supporters club seed. I was quite impressed with a Perillia. Interesting flavour though. Swiss chard and celery. Swiss chard. What's wrong with Swiss chard?
It's not up there on the thing that you grow I really get excited about.
Okay, fine.
I mean, I'm still waiting for those things I really like. that you grew and you've never grown again? The little yellow orange thing.
Oh,
Physalis.
Physalis or Cape gooseberries.
Yeah.
Yes, I will be growing those again. Turbo Stream. I tried Kellett's last year and they were a failure and not that tasty. Probably won't try them again. I've heard that Kellett's are not very tasty. I've never grown them myself, but a lot of people have said they are not tasty at all. Fair enough. Ian McGorgan says, I would not grow a fig tree as a sap is poisonous and burnt my arms from the sap pruning in the sun. Apparently, it was a Victorian gardener joke on the Garden Boys. Oh, what? I never knew that about a bit of sap burning. We have got a fig tree, and I have grown figs from it before, but I never knew about that. That's interesting. That's very interesting, and I get why you wouldn't grow that again after that. And yeah, good evening. Watching from Facebook group tonight from Rebecca. Lovely to see you, Rebecca. Right, so we've got sticking with this subject, but we want to do trying to move things along in this live show, mix things up, make things a bit more interesting for everybody. So because of that, we said each week we're going to sow some seeds. And let me just bring the camera in a bit more. I've got an overhead camera set up just here. I'm going to sow. Hang on, let me move the thing out of the way. I've got several cameras, as you can see, set up. We're going to sow some spinach in a grow along as a feature we're going to add each week. The idea being I sow these seeds this week, and then next week we'll sow some more seeds, but we'll keep seeing how these are getting on as a group and see how they get on. So spinach seed is going in, as you can see there. I'm just going to scatter those all over there. And then I'm going to press it down and try and get the seed to cover, or get this compost to cover all over that seed, like so. Now that pot will go in the greenhouse once we finish, where it should hopefully be looked after, and I'll bring it in next week to see how it gets on. I forgot to add a label or produce a label before we did this week, so that'd be a reminder for next week. And next week we're going to be sowing pak choi as our grow along, so everybody get their pak choi seeds at the ready. Right, what have we got? Jenny says, Digwell, have you tried Kellett's? They have been tried nicer. Never tried those. Margaret Peacock has joined. Good evening to you. Ian Meadows says he hates Marmite. So is it down to your DNA, as we said?
No.
Brian says, I won't be growing sweet corn again. Too many earwigs in the garden. Yeah, sweet corn does seem to attract the earwigs, doesn't it? We had a few in my sweet corn, but they soon went. There was a bird flying over.
Thought we were about to hit the Hitchcock.
Yeah, we do get quite a few seagulls and make quite a bit of a noise down here. Adrian, there are fields of coriander growing up here and smells lovely when passing. You're obviously in that 50% of the people that like coriander, but there's a lot of people said down to the DNA. It's quite interesting that.
I've worked hard to like it.
You worked hard to like it. Stuart Jackson says Cucamelon is another one. Grew it this year, but we'll be giving them a miss next year. I grew Cucamelon a few years ago, actually, and we had this tiny pea-sized thing, which, we had a couple of them, didn't we?
You were so proud.
I was so proud, and we ate them, and they were like, yeah, sort of like a cucumber, sort of like a melon. But yeah, for what we got out of them, I don't think we've ever bothered since, and we probably won't ever bother again. So yeah, another one. Yeah, Cucamelon, good one to add to that list. Stuart says cauliflower did really well at school this year. They were sown in autumn, which I didn't do at home, and mine was not so good. That backs up what I've been saying, or my belief is because it's such a cool loving plant, it needs a bit of time to not bolt. Jenny says, Digwell, have you tried all the chards? There's a few varieties to try. Okay, fair enough. Idaho says, I quit growing normal peas and now only grow snap peas. Why is that? Why is that? Is that because they didn't perform for you, or you didn't like the flavour of the normal peas? I'm only asking because I want to try and find this out. Anna Jones says, I stopped growing Swiss chard when the beet leaf miner came along. I don't like eating maggots. Yeah, we found that with our raspberries, our autumn raspberries. We picked them, put them in the fridge, and then you got them out the next day, and there was maggots all in them, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's traumatized by it, as you can tell.
Well, I didn't think they really were maggots.
Well, they were, what were they called?
But there was a lot of them.
Raspberry leaf miner or something like that. Yeah, there was lots of them, which weren't there the day before.
How does that even happen? It's cold in there.
Well, yeah, because they were in the fridge, so who knows? Who knows? Many citrus trees have toxic sap, e.g., lime. Didn't know that. Again, we've got lemon and orange trees here, so I've never burnt myself on the sap, but we don't know. Oh, Nicholas says, what type of spinach are you growing? It's Malabar. So don't know how successful it is going to be. We're going to find out. Brian says, none of these toxic saps have affected me. What's so funny there,
Because
dear?
you said snaps.
Snaps. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm trying to think. I have had it once where a sap burnt my skin, but nothing serious. And I can't think what that was, but nothing too serious. I sowed spinach with the children last week. The new children really enjoy growing this term. Fantastic, Stuart. We've got to sort out this Q&A for you to come on here and have a chat like that. Digwell doesn't like Hellets either. I didn't know that, Ian. The fig sap from Limby. Interesting. I didn't know that about figs either. Digwell says, one more, never again for taste. Collard's greens. Collards. I've grown those. I didn't mind them too much. A bit of a weird one to try and figure out, but I didn't mind them too much. But Digwell says they smell like rotten cabbage as they grow. I might be one of these weird people. The smell of cabbages doesn't put me off.
You can't smell.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is very true. Idaho doesn't like collards either, so wouldn't grow those. Jenny says, any chard reviews? I'm growing rainbow chard, but have different varieties to try. Do they all taste similar? I'm going to say, yeah, they pretty much do taste similar. Amanda doesn't like them. I quite like them, but you've got to really cook and the leaves down and to get them, and pick the leaves when they're young is the key thing, when they're nice and tender still. I think the reason that Amanda didn't like them,
not very exciting.
they're a bit tough. Turbo Stream, I try and take chard leaves when they are small. I'm not keen as they get bigger, which what I was just saying as well. So that's somebody else. Kate says, I won't bother with onions this year. They did not do well. Spring or autumn sown onions. My autumn sown didn't do too badly. The spring ones were rubbish. And I put that down to how dry it has been this year. So, yeah. Digwell says, with the saps, it's the same chemical as with parsnips, etc. It needs UV light to activate and burn you. There's so many things that can burn you, isn't there? There's giant hogweed is a big one in the summer. If you get that on you, it can really cause some issues. Ian says, Collard's Green. My old boss was Mr. Collard, and he had a fruit and veg farm. Was he the person that invented these Collard's Green as well then? Brian's Garden and Polytunnel says, my grandmother used to soak blackberries, etc., in a bowl of salted water. Maggots floated to the surface. They were later drained in fresh water. The fruit never tasted of salt. There we go. That's probably what we have to try and do, although I'm trying to really get rid of all the I can't remember what the insect is. Cabbage, raspberry, it's a moth or something. that I discovered that caused it. And it was just laying its eggs. That's where the problem is. Yeah. Jenny says the only sap I've ever been burnt from was a euphorbia flower. Needed medical treatment. It was terrible. Stupid mistake because I knew it was there. Euphorbia is pretty bad. I know that much. Turbostream, my autumn sown onions didn't amount to much from seed. Not seen any sense yet this year. I got my sets yesterday, funny enough, when we popped to a garden centre. They weren't too badly priced, actually. I was quite surprised. Bags of 50 for £3. So I got my onions and I got my my autumn onions, that is, and I got my shallots. Shallots, yep, she was with me, so she remembers. They weren't badly priced though, where I went. So keep your eye on Wilkinson's, places like that. They will soon become available. Collins Green are a New Orleans deep south
I was
thing.
thinking that.
Okay, interesting. Didn't know that. We quite like our sort of New Orleans, Louisiana cooking, don't we? Things like gumbo, and I cooked gumbo, which is a Southern American dish, and it was
gorgeous.
I mean, I've cooked it many times, but just keeps getting better and better. Gumbo. In fact, I think a lot of people want me to cook it for them. It's so good. Raspberry beetle, that's the one. Yeah, raspberry beetle.
You can beetle off.
He can beetle off. Beetle off. Ian says the sap on the fig in the euphorbia is white, so watch out for the white sap. Indeed, yeah. I won't purposely grow cucamelon again. That's another one for cucamelon. Interesting. They keep coming back as volunteers, but I don't enjoy eating them. They have tough skin and not worth the effort. Cucamelon and asparagus pea seems like the top one so far. The globe artichokes isn't far behind. What else have I got on my list? So the next one I've got on my list, let me get rid of that current comment. What's that one there? Next one on my list that I will not grow again is broccoli, but the rab broccoli. So these are the ones that grow in like 30 days or 60 days, and they only grow quite small, and you get this little flower thing off it. I've grown them many, many times. I just find them so fiddly, so much of a faff. You get this tiny little piece of stem broccoli, basically. I've not bothered. That is the rab broccoli. Usually rab 60, available or ready in 60 days, so 2 months from growing and harvesting. Just so much of a faff that I just don't bother. I prefer proper broccoli. I know you do too. You probably didn't even...
No, I'm thinking that I remember seeing
No.
that.
It's a bit like the purple sprouting broccoli, but the purple sprouting broccoli is a big plant and you get plenty of it. So I don't mind that. But this one, just pointless because it just... So... Pointless. So much of a faff. So much of a faff. Digwell started his onion sets off in cell trays today, so he's off and ready. Turbo Stream says, I find if you take raspberries and blackberries slightly before they are soft, then the maggots and flies aren't a problem. It's difficult to try and stop the raspberry beetles and stuff. I'm trying every year. I do find the earlier ones we don't get it so much. And the ones at home, we don't get it either. It's the ones on the allotment.
And the blackberries are fine.
The blackberries are fine. Those blackberries were good this year, weren't they?
Well, when I went on an explore, the blackberries there were fine as well because I had to check.
Yeah. Digwell says, like them, but don't use them much. Super hot chilies. I can use the space better now. Yeah, I mean, I do like my hot chilies, but I know what you mean. They're super hot. They're a bit like... a bit too hot that they ruin the flavour. But there again, I've built up quite a tolerance to hot chilies that I can probably eat hotter chilies than most people.
Well, those chilies and that cornbread were quite warm.
They were nice, though. They were nice. Idaho says regular peas get starchy before I get them shelled. Snap peas get eaten immediately. Yeah, okay. That makes sense, yeah. It's a bit like sweet corn. You've got to shell them pretty quickly after harvesting, so yeah. Went shopping yesterday. Onion sets and tomato pots planning for next year. bargains are in the garden centres and supermarkets as well. So she got fed up of me dragging her around these places trying to find all the bargains.
It's all right. I had to drag you around to get my kilos so I could pickle my onions.
Pickled onions, of course, yeah. Ballycillian, after I planted my seed-grown onions, I was gifted sets. I planted them close together and used the green growth as scallions, spring onions. Got 3/4 cuttings off them as they kept regrowing. Good idea, indeed. Very good idea. Jenny says, I was going to order some more elephant garlic, but it's so expensive this year. I've got some elephant garlic coming with my garlic order, which I don't need because I save the biggest bulb each year. I will send you, Jenny. I will send you some elephant garlic seed. Just one, but it's all you need.
Why do we grow garlic when I end up buying paste?
I don't know. I tell you, we've got the garlic.
I know.
You don't
but
need
I
to
forget.
buy it.
Communication in our house works well.
No, you just self-sabotage. Digwell, thanks for the advice about Ram 60. I have some seeds, so I'll give them away. Honestly, you might get on well with them, Digwell, but for me, I just find them, they go to flower really quickly as well, which is a bit of a problem. Just so much of a faff. They're small little plants. They grow quickly. If you're on them every day, you'll probably be okay, but I just see what you think is what I say. I'm just not a fan of them now. I agree about the red broccoli. I grow it as a green manure to take the small crop and dig the rest in. Yep. Yeah. So that's somebody else who agrees with me about red broccoli. Is I think quite a few people out there find that with a red broccoli. It's just such a faff to grow. You get a very small amount of vegetable or edible stuff from it that it becomes a bit like a pointless waste of time. Although, if you know, it is a quick crop. By the way, if you do want to call in, phone line is open 07307 135 174, and I'll add the link if you want to zap in and appear on the screen as well. Nobody's used that for a while. That's why the keyboard's there. But it is there if you want to use it. The link is going up in the comments right now. Idaho says, I'm able to grow spring onions with little effort. Regular onions are a challenge for me. Best onions I have been ones that overwintered. I always say that. The overwintered onions here always grow better than the spring grown ones, but they don't store as long and they're more likely to bolt. This year, I'm trying a variety that is meant to be pretty bolt resistant. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that gets on. Digwell says, I bought elephant garlic because my own saved one seems to be growing smaller every year. My elephant garlic gets bigger and bigger every year, but my normal garlic has been getting smaller. That's why I've started again with that. Brian says, I got elephant garlic bulbs from Woody, Cumbrian Homestead, trying for the first time and prepared to wait a couple of years. You will get a crop in your first year. What I just tend to do, I started off with one seed and I grew that, and then I took that entire bulb and replanted that. And it was big. And now every year I just save the biggest bulb and replant that. I get about 6 elephant garlic bulbs every year. They're in the greenhouse down on the allotment at the moment. They're nice big onions. No, they're not onions. Nice big garlic bulbs. Not quite as strong a flavour as normal garlic, but I think they are really good. And you can actually eat the whole clove if you wanted to. I put them in a lamb once. I don't know if you remember. I took a lamb leg and I just stuffed it with some of this elephant garlic. And when we carved it, we carved right through that elephant garlic. And it was such a nice flavour that it worked really, really well. You liked that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's because you remembered you had garlic.
Yeah. Ian says, yes, solar wildflowers now as wet and warm. What wildflowers?
They were talking about it earlier.
Oh, right. I was keep a close eye. Will spring onions grow well in the veggie pod? Yes, they will. They will grow very well in the veggie pod. Anybody who doesn't know what a veggie pod is, it's a raised garden bed. We've got 2 of them, small and a medium. We think they're brilliant. Ian's got some. I know quite a few people out there have got one, including a photo from somebody who's getting one. So More on that in the photo section. Lynn got to pop off now. Have a good evening, everyone. Thanks, Richard and Amanda. Thank you for joining us, Lynn. So you take care. Stuart says, my elephant garlic is in the ground. As of today, £4 a bulb from the garlic farm. £4 a bulb. Not cheap, is it? Not cheap at all.
Nothing is, but let's not go down that road.
No, and everything's getting more expensive. Idaho says, yeah, I tried broccoli wrap. It was worthless. I thought I'd done something wrong. Good to know other people had similar experience. And not just me or Ballycillian. So, yeah. Digwell says, I roast my elephant with the spuds lash. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds very nice. We'll try that, I think. Ian says, have you ever grown a perennial cauliflower? I've seen the seeds from a company. No, I haven't. I didn't know there was such a thing. Let me know the seed company, and I'd love to try that perennial. I want some perennial kale as well. I've got to try that at some point because it's something that I think we need to keep trying. Right, looking at the time, we've said, well, we were talking last week that I want to add a new feature each week of a section called Let's Get to Know You video, where I'm asking you guys to send in a video of yourselves on your plot, just talking about yourselves. And I said I would do one of myself just to show you what I'm doing. And this is that video. Well, hello everybody, and as I said, a new feature I want to add to this live show is a Get to Know You segment, and I'm going to start off with my Get to Know Me. Now, while I'm just going to sit down, if you do record a video, I do ask that you film it in landscape. So if you're shooting on your phone, you hold your phone like that, not like that, not in portrait, like that. If you do it in portrait, it's not the end of the world. It just, to me, it looks better on this live show. And I also ask, if you do record it, you record it in 720. Now, if you don't know what that is, don't worry, just record it and send it to me, and I will sort it out. It just makes it a bit easier for me if it is in 720. So, a little bit about me. So, my name is Richard, as no doubt you know. I live in Littlehampton in West Sussex, which is right down on the south coast between Portsmouth and Brighton. If you don't know where that is, check it out on a map. I'm married to my wife Amanda, who you will see on this show tonight, hopefully. We've got pets. We've got 2 quail, 3 chickens, and Roxy the dog. No children. So that's a little bit about me, and a bit about my background in Grow Your Own. So I started growing my own food when I was 10 years old. I took over this plot of land at the top of my garden, and there I just started growing tomatoes and things like that, and it's something that's stuck with me right throughout. When I lived with my parents, and I lived with my parents for a bit too long, it took a while. It was difficult to really do what I wanted to do. It wasn't until I met Amanda and we moved in together that I then commandeered her garden and started growing food, and then a friend of ours offered the use of his allotment, so I started doing that as well. And then we lived in a different house then. We then moved to Littlehampton, and that's where when we were buying a house, I just said I wanted a decent sized garden to grow our own food, and we do. We have a garden that's 250 square metres, or in comparison to an allotment, that's a 10-rod plot. But I also fancied having an allotment of my own, and I applied to the council, and 2 weeks later I got 128B, which is this bottom half of my allotment. And I started growing it and turning it into my own thing, growing food at home, growing food on the allotment. And after a few years I then took on 128A when that became available, because I fancied having that full size allotment. So although I've got 2 half plots, they are 2 halves of the same plot, and that would be a 10-rod plot if they were all together. If that makes sense. 250 square metres is what I have down on the allotment as well. Got 2 greenhouses now down on the allotment. This one's the new addition. Got a greenhouse at home, and I mainly grow food. Don't really grow much in the way of flowers or plants unless it's beneficial to growing my own food. In terms of what my favourite food, so I thought this might be a nice question. Favourite food is got to be a curry. I love curry. I love to eat a curry. Could eat that all day long. Amanda's nan was originally from India, or grew up in India, and she used to cook the best curries before she passed away. So yeah, curry is a big favourite of mine. But we also like a lot of Italians. Me and Amanda are very adventurous when it comes to eating food. What else would people like to know about me? I've got a sister, I've got half brother and half sister, I've got stepbrothers, so if that's of any use to anybody as well. Some of those, they're not really into their garden and some are, so a bit of a mix there. My parents, my dad this year, he's recently got into Grow Your Own, him and Margaret, who are probably watching as well. They've been growing their own food in their garden as well, so that's part of the effect that I'm having. The reason I started the Veg Grower podcast is that I believe that people should be growing their own food, and I'm a big believer that growing your own food helps us out with so many problems. Other hobbies, slightly different subjects. So I'm into photography and video making. I also quite like camping. I've got the camper van and I go out camping in the tent from time to time as well. Love going on walks out in the countryside. Nice long walks, obviously with a dog, that makes things easier. I used to be a very keen kickboxer many years ago now, black belt in kickboxing, which I don't do anymore due to time constraints, but I do miss it. And I'm also playing the guitar as well, something I don't get to do enough of, but I like playing the guitar. So that's a little bit about me and my background. Anybody else wants to make their own video, then please do go ahead. Just make it, like I say, in landscape is the only real rule I have. If you can do it in 720, it does make my life easier. Added to that, just send your video to me. Head to WeTransfer.com and enter my email address, richard@theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk, and enter your email address, upload your video to that and send it to me, and that makes things very, very easy. So over to you guys now. Please do send a video to get the audience to know who you are. Look forward to seeing them. And we're back. So I hope that's given you a sort of idea of what I'm looking for in this get to know you section. That was a nice size. Gave us a chance to have a bit of a break and a bit of a laugh because
there were some things I didn't know.
There was some things.
I'm joking.
It wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me about that. But it was. I didn't realise when we were recording. The man had walked past at the back with Roxy, so I didn't realise that. But yeah, if anybody wants to do a get to know you video, I think it's going to be a great way. We are a community, great way for us all to get to know each other and put a face to the name and so on. So anybody is able to send videos, it would really go down quite well. I know there's a lot of people who were interested in that. Back to the comments quickly. Stuart says, I've just moved my veggie pod today closer to the house, so hopefully I will be growing salad in it over the winter. Yeah, they're great for growing over the winter. Herbs, salads. I mean, ours. We just love ours. Absolutely do. Even when Amanda first saw him, wasn't interested in gardening at all at the time. And she said, "Like to see that more." Or love you into. You're still not into gardening, but you liked it. Just back in from the allotment. Hi everyone. I'll be watching the show on repeat from Grow Veg UK. Lovely to see you. Hope you are well. Normally you're in the bath when you watch this, actually, as well. Just realised. Digwell says, £4 is cheap for the whole elephant garlic, as normal garlic is that price too. I haven't bought normal garlic in so long, I couldn't tell you.
I normally buy the one in the jar or the tube.
Lazy garlic.
That's good.
Digwell says 250 square metres. Mine is less than 100. Yeah, we got a good sized garden. That's one of the criteria that I had when we bought this gun. Trouble is, this still doesn't feel big enough. Full of clutter. Idaho said, I was going to send you a get to know you video. I forgot. No problem. But please, anybody does it for next week or get them ready for the next few weeks, it would really go down well. Digwell says, great to know you, Richard. You're welcome. But more of that would go down great. Digwell, winter lettuce is in my veggie pod. Yeah, winter lettuce will be going in mine. So spinach and things like that as well. Yeah, I mean, I think the veggie pod is a great system, I've got to say. Now, something we have actually been harvesting today from our plots at home, and I'm really proud of these. Even though this is only one bunch, we only had 2 bunches, quite small. Oh, granted, this is the smallest one out of the lot, and even the grapes are very small as well. But I'm very, very pleased with them, and I want to see. And I've got Amanda here to taste it as well because I've already tasted one.
We didn't harvest these. You did.
I harvested them.
It's your
but
hard work.
I want to see whether you think they taste as good as I think they do. Oh,
Well, it tastes like a grape.
it tastes like a grape. Well, that's a good start. I quite like them.
It's just because I know you said there were seeds in them earlier.
Yeah, there are seeds in them. They're not the seedless variety, but
Yeah, that's a downfall.
I think they taste like a grape, and you know what I mean. They actually full of. I mean, obviously they're fresh. They've only probably 7 hours ago when I picked them off the branch, but I gotta say, I think they taste absolutely delicious. Digwell says, I only ever use lazy garlic for cooking as I roast the cloves. Yeah, and Jenny says, Digwell, roasted elephant garlic in mash sounds amazing. So we're going to have to try some of that as well. In fact, we harvested some potatoes yesterday from the allotment, and that variety was acoustic. The second early variety, that is. I was generally quite impressed with what we got out of them. I thought they were good, nice, big potatoes, and quite a few of them. Bit late in harvesting them, granted, but I was happy with what we got out of those. So yeah, there we go. Ibanez, how long was it before you got fruit? I think I brought that one last year, if I remember correctly. That grapevine. It was either last year or the year before. I think last year. I bought 3 of them at the time. One of them died. One of them is in the ground in the vegetable patch. This one is in a pot. Does need a bit more compost. I've moved it into the greenhouse today as well, because it's not a one that can survive out in winter all year. But yeah, 2 years. 2 years. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. I would not grow garlic as can't stand the smell. It's the veg of the devil, says Ian. Fair enough. I mean, I love garlic. I absolutely love garlic, but I can see why you're saying that.
We did have that debate earlier.
What was that? What did we
When
say?
I asked you about your sandwiches, I went, but I think it's got garlic in it.
Oh yeah. I don't. Right now we are cooling down, so it's in the 79 and 80s during the day, 40 to 50 at night. We rarely get precipitation, so dry is normal.
Idaho girl was asking what people's weather was like in their area.
Oh, right. Cool. Digwell says acoustic sounds good. They not only sounded good, they were good potatoes. We actually had them in our roast dinner today, and they roasted up quite nicely, I thought.
Yeah, I did good.
Yeah, you did do good. You did do good. At this point, I haven't asked you to do this yet, but please do give us a thumbs up. Please do give us a like. Please do give us a follow and a subscribe on whichever platform you are watching on. And don't forget to click the notifications so you know when we go live. When I go live, I say,
it's all about him.
All about me. Sometimes she helps behind the scenes, but not tonight. She's here telling us how not to grow anything.
Yeah, that's not my forte.
Now, so one thing before I carry on, from later on this evening, Halloween merchandise will be available on the veggrowerpodcast.co.uk. So that merchandise is our Halloween logo. The merchandise is only on sale throughout October. It's got Halloween logo, t-shirts, mugs, and possibly even a hoodie, if I remember correctly. They will be available, I'm going to say later on tonight, but probably tomorrow. If you check on the veggrowerpodcast.co.uk if you are interested in buying any of our merch. Don't normally mention the merch, but it is there and to be used. Don't forget, we've got the Veg Grower Army merch as well, which is specifically for you guys in the live show. Ian Bellow says, I used to hate garlic and I never went anywhere to eat and could smell it. I'd go to the chippy. Now I love it. I love garlic. I really do like garlic, but that's me. I mean, I think it's a great one to grow. Use it a lot in the kitchen. I love the flavour, but I can see why people don't really like it. Now, I'm carrying on with one more thing I've got on this list of plants that I would never grow. And this is a plant that I've never actually grown. I've just I've just seen so many bad things about it that I don't think I would ever grow. But I'm going to caveat that um, with a place where I see I might grow it. So what do I mean by that? The plant I'm talking about is called shark's fin melon. Now, the reason that people have said it's a bad plant to grow is because it grows so big. So big. It will take one plant will take over an entire allotment given half the chance. It is incredibly big squash plant. And it produces quite a few of these shark's fin melon, which I don't know how they taste. I've heard they taste quite nice. They're just a big plant that has a tendency to take over. Now, I say I would never grow that, but part of me wants to grow it. One, because I can't believe how big it gets, and I think that might just be a bit of a fluke. But also, if I feel there's areas where, let's say, you take on a new allotment and you want to smother out some of those weeds and have something growing there, I see a shark's fin melon to be an ideal thing for that, because it will grow quite big, will smother out some of those weeds, and just produce food at the same time. Um, so that's one I've never grown. I don't think I will ever grow because of what I've heard about it, but I can see reasons why we might grow it. Have you ever heard of shark's fin melon, Amanda?
No, I'd like to know who decided that had to be the name of a melon. Is it in the shape of a shark's fin?
Good question. That's a very good question. I don't
You're
know.
welcome.
That's something we might have to find out. If perhaps it tastes like shark's fin. I don't know. I know some people do eat shark's fin in other countries. I can't understand that myself. I think that's barbaric, personally.
Well, if you're eating the rest of the shark, at least you're using everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not what I've seen them do. So, Digwell says some garlic is a bit overpowering. Absolutely right. It is. Some can be, but I still like it. Beatrice, hi everyone. Hope you are well. Sorry I'm late. No problem. Lovely to see you. We're talking about what plant will you never grow again and why. So I'd love to know more on that. I will remember Sean James Cameron growing a shark fin melon. LOL. Funny enough, that's who I was thinking of as well. That he did certainly take over his allotment, but he got quite a few melons out of it. But just be interested to see. I'll be interested to see what they taste like, is what I would say. My hoodie is so warm, a winter must. Ian's got one of the Veg Grower podcast normal hoodies, I believe. I must get myself one of our hoodies. Idaho Gargoyle. I don't mind seeds and grapes. I just eat them crunch, crunch, crunch. We've got quite a few here. I remember we were in Greece, if I remember correctly, or in one of the Greek islands on holiday, and we were given a plate of grapes and we were eating them, and the seeds on those were as big as the grapes. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, must just be me then. Jenny says not melons again. Nobody wants smothering melons. I'll stop that. Oh yeah, the melon competition, who can grow the biggest melons, is coming coming into play next year. So yeah, get ready with all the puns on that. The one fruit I like but gives me the most trouble is pears. They never ripen on the tree. Then when brought home, they all ripen at once. So as I understand it, and I'm pulling on my memory banks here, you actually harvest pears before they are ripe, and you ripen them at home anyway. I don't think they ever ripen on the tree. So what you're probably best off doing is waiting for their full size, only picking a few for the week, and then letting those ripen at home, and then a few days later picking more and letting those ripen at home.
But they don't always ripen at home either.
Not always.
Yeah, this is why I like only conference pears. They're more predictable.
Well, not if you grow them.
Well, no, that's why I get them from the supermarket.
Yeah, yeah. Brian's garden and polytunnel says a Korean garden next to me grew shark fin melon. It also tried to take over my garden a few years ago. He once told me it tasted similar.
Oh, well, then you've got to grow it.
You've gotta
Fishy
grow it.
melon, that's exactly what you want.
Shark's fin melon, fig gourd, is sweet tasting squash with stringy insides. The flesh is used to replace shark's fin in mock shark fin foods. So there you go. Did you know that? No, clearly
No,
not.
I didn't know we could get shark fin melon until about 20 minutes ago.
These grapes are nice. I like these.
I'm not convinced I want you growing that melon.
If I was to grow it, it would be on a new plot or something, somewhere where
We're not getting a new plot.
no. I'm trying to think of some way I could grow it, but
We'll buy a field.
buy a field, yeah. My favourite grapes are Petite Sirah wine grapes. They have seeds and are very sweet. I just eat the whole grapes. I think these might be wine grapes as well, actually, but it's nowhere near enough to make any wine. But
we wouldn't drink it anyway.
We wouldn't drink it anyway.
No.
Which makes me think they probably are dessert grapes, thinking about it. They are really nice grapes, though, I've got to say. I mean, I like grapes anyway, but these taste really nice. I could harvest a shark fin melon from my plot at home 1.5 miles away. They grow that big, is what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
They grow 1.5 miles. Yeah, they do have a tendency to grow really big. So
can you buy them in the shops?
I don't know. Digwat says, Richard, they were olives. What was olives? What was olives?
I have no idea what was olives.
Yeah, I'm probably doing something wrong there.
I'm still getting over the shark melon.
Ian says, I can't reach the pears at the top of the tree. Yeah. If a tree is that big that you can't reach them. So what I've got, it's more for apples, but I don't see why it won't work for pears. It's basically a net on a very long stick. You get up to those high hanging fruits. You pull off a tree and the net catches it. Work for pears. I can't see why it wouldn't work for pears. It's definitely for apples, but they're not that expensive. Have a look online and I'm sure you will find one for those that are just a bit out of reach.
I think in Spain they have that machine that goes up to the oranges and then shakes it and then opens up and it collects them.
Yes, yeah, they're for. I think they're the orange that grow in the streets though, more than anything. Stuart Jackson says probably not going to grow pak choi at home as no one in the house likes it. We're growing them at school so the children can taste different veg.
I like pak choi.
We like pak choi, but I can see it's one of those that. Unless you, I mean, we're quite adventurous with what we eat anyway. So we could eat green Thai curry, for example, with pak choi in it. Thai coconut noodle soup and so on. Or what I like to do with pak choi as well on the barbecue, just a bit of lemon and oil mixed together, drizzled over the pak choi and on the barbecue till it just slightly caramelizes and burns. Really nice like that. But pak choi is one of those that people don't always know what to do with it.
That way about artichokes.
That way with artichokes, yeah. Jenny says, I may have to give shark fin melon a go. No shark fin dishes or mock dishes, though. I will Google different ways to eat them. If you do try, I'd love to see how you get on with it. I really would.
It looks like.
Yeah, I'll dig out some videos for you. So, Ballyston, I'm on a windy site. When I tried that, Richard, they ended up falling off.
Is that the pears?
Was that the pears? Oh yeah. That probably is. That would make sense. Oh, the grapes in the Greece were olives. No, they were definitely grapes. But yeah, I know what you're saying. No, they were definitely grapes. But yeah, they were that. The seeds were that sort of size. I always remember them. I can't remember which Greek island it was. It might have been
two.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Crete or Rhodes. One of the two.
Or was it the first holiday?
I can't remember. I can't remember. Ian says, "Why aren't I sharing the grapes? They're there. She can eat them. She can eat them."
Yeah, no, I've had to.
Yeah. Chili Phil says, "Our pear crop is terrible this year." So was our pear crop, actually. We had one and it got stolen. So I wasn't happy about that.
The
but
apples were good though.
the apples were still more apples to go as well. Jenny says, "Thank you, Digwell. Hopefully, they're no worse than the asparagus pea. Maybe one of those one grows."
Oh, no one likes that.
No one likes asparagus pea,
No.
clearly. Ian says, "My mate Terry gave me some plums, so I said, 'Thanks, Terry. Nice plums.'" We'll back to those melon jokes, isn't it? Melons and plums. We got a plum tree in our garden now, so
Do we?
yeah, it's a little one on the patio. So hopefully, we're going to get plums next year.
You could buy anything and I wouldn't notice.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Brian's Garden and Polytown. I think Steve was referring to the size of your seed in your grape. Yes, yeah, he was. I got it afterwards. Digwell says, "I throw pak choy into stir fries." Lush. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Turbo Stream says, "If you did grow the shark fin, then perhaps peg out some canes and grow them around them, a bit like a maze, then sell tickets." That's not a bad idea, actually. That's not a bad idea at all. Ian Meadows, "Look on the Wolf Tool website for a fruit picker, about £30. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, a fruit picker. They're not that much money, but they are good for getting those fruits that are a bit high and out the way. Now, we always like to look at some photos that have been either posted in the group or sent to me, and I thought we'll do that now. So, Turbo Stream has sent me this photo. He's made this cane storage, not can storage, this cane storage next to his shed. Love it. Absolutely great way to keep your canes tidily away. Fantastic. He's also been protecting some of his crops using these polytunnel, or I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but they're there to protect crops. He's also got beans that are starting to show themselves off and start to enjoy the sun. Fantastic. Now, Kate has, I haven't seen her for a while. She was in the group earlier. She's been harvesting these purple potatoes. Absolutely interesting colour. With it being the month of
They
Halloween.
look like crystals, not edibles.
Yeah, they do, don't they, like
Mm.
that? With it being the month of Halloween, there'd be a great one to give trick-or-treaters, I think.
No, let's not waste it.
Or don't waste it. Yeah, but I grew these purple potatoes once, and
They didn't look that purple.
They weren't that purple. So she's also made this display in her watering can, something I've done myself here at home with an old watering can as well. I got a watering can that was leaking, so turned it into a plant pot. Stu Jackson has been tidying the greenhouse, as you can see here. Lots of space on the shelves. Nice bubble wrap protection gone up to make it a bit warmer.
You can tidy our
soon-
garden if you like.
He soon filled it. He did say he had help from Mrs. Jackson. So lots going on there. Now we mentioned the Veggie Pod clan, Nicola, who I've spelled Nicole, unfortunately. Apologies about that.
Literally, Nicole.
Nicole, yeah. She's got herself a bargain Veggie Pod from Facebook Marketplace for £50. Fantastic. Look at that.
Wow, that is a bargain.
Yeah. Yeah. Secondhand, but
Who
never
cares?
mind. Kate, this is Chili Kate, and she has been working hard in her allotment. This is what it was like when it started. This is what it looks
Wow.
like after. What a transformation. What a difference. Great stuff to see. Now, Stephen harvested loads of green tomatoes. That time of year when green tomatoes are becoming prolific, and he's looking for recipes in how to use them. Green tomato chutney, green tomato fried, so on.
Fried green tomatoes.
Fried green tomatoes. Lots of ideas to throw out there. I've done well. And finally, Idaho each week is showing us a shot of her garden, and this is what it looks like today. Absolutely full of loads of luscious growth, isn't it?
I love the fence. Sorry.
Loves the fence. We're all looking at the
I'm looking at
vegetables,
the white picket fence.
and she loves the white picket fence.
That garden's amazing.
So please do keep your photos coming in. Post in our Facebook group, send to me via social media, or email me, richard@veggrowpodcast.co.uk. So yeah, lovely to see those photos every week. I love seeing everyone's photos and seeing what everyone's doing in their garden as well. Jenny says, like a turbo stream, we could play Jaws music and sing the Spanish Lady song.
Yeah, it's better than the song I currently have in my head.
What's that?
You don't want me to start it.
Oh, Baby Shark. Yeah, well, it's not a baby shark, it's a giant shark.
I know, but it's going round and round.
Chili Kate says, love that cane storage. I do too. I did something similar on my allotment using old pallets, so that was a much nicer idea as well. Canes are such a problem sometimes to store, I think. My wee polytunnel was made from a clear bin liner. There we go. Fantastic. Recycling at its best. Don't think growing round the canes will work as they throw out so many side shoots which are hard to manage. Been there, seen the movie, bought the book and t-shirt. I'm still fascinated with this. I know it'll be a mistake to grow because it would just take over my allotment. But then I'm thinking in Scruffy Corner, no, that's too close to the road. But I just think I kind of want to try it just to see if it really is as bad as what everybody makes it out to be, and if it does produce anything. So anybody does grow it, let us know. I know Digwell's clearly grown it before as well. I may have to watch Jaws tonight. All-time great movie.
It's better than the baby sharks going in my head.
I'm staying well clear of shark fin melons, Digwell. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? I think everybody here, or very few of us, have actually grown shark's fin melon, but know the story, and has decided they're not gonna grow it because of that. Ian says, "How does Baby Shark go?"
Look it up on YouTube and see how long you'll last.
Stuart Jackson says, "We've been very lucky at school. A member of our village donated a veggie pod to school. I just need to buy some clips to hold it down again. Bargain." How many veggie pods have you got in your school now? I know you've got a couple, I think, if I remember correctly.
If he's got a school playing field, he's got plenty of room to grow shark melon.
Stuart, shark fin melon for your school. Imagine a foot of a day of growth from 12 vines. A foot a day. That's like growing the length of me in a week. Okay, a bit more. I'm 6 foot, but a foot a day. That's more. That's quite big. I know that when I saw it on, I think it was Sean James Cameron who grew them. I saw it on when they were on there. They did grow really big and take over his entire allotment. I think he only had a small plot at the time, so yeah. It's actually amazing how a plant can grow that much so fast from a tiny seed. I agree. It always fascinates me how any plant, like I'm just looking at these grapevine seeds, which are tiny. I'm gonna have to bring them up on the for you to see. A seed like that, let me get in the center of a frame, can grow into a huge grapevine. That's absolutely amazing to think that can happen.
Do you think my mum would notice if we grew it in her garden?
That's an idea. I didn't think of that. Oh, my mum's garden.
Your mum will notice. My mum's gardener might notice, but
yeah, I mean, your mum has a garden. My mum doesn't. Oh, I won't put it in my sister's garden because she won't have a garden.
No.
Brian says, I regularly talk to Jaws, the wife. I've got to be polite tonight about my wife because she can hit me tonight. Went on the Jaws ride at Universal Studios. Loved it. Have you been on that?
Yep.
Digwell says, I grew mine on some waste space on the site. I had to kill it as it was taking over other people's plots. That's what I think. If we put it in our parents' garden, it'll be great.
Yeah, but you're going to have to go round to my mum's and check on it.
Yeah, that'll be all right. That'll be all right. Digwell, are the fruits too large to grow up? Good question. Good question. Are the fruits too large to grow up? I may be looking at shark fin melon for school. I could teach so much watching it grow. If someone wants to donate the seeds, I will give it a go. We'll see what we can do, Stuart.
Yeah.
See what we can do. Amanda, how is your mum?
Yeah, she's doing really well.
Much better.
Really
much
well.
better.
Much better than before, actually. So yes. It's
Yeah,
good.
much back to her old
No, better
self.
than before she was.
Yeah.
But thank you for asking.
I hope I can get a veggie pod. Yeah, I really do recommend them. I think are great. Chili, well, actually, Kate, that's before/after looks awesome. Yeah, doesn't it just got to show how a bit of hard work goes a long way. That was in the photos. Andrew, don't forget your mums are watching. My mum's
My
not.
mum isn't.
No,
My
yeah,
mum
mine
doesn't have
definitely
the
isn't.
internet.
No.
We're okay.
No. Turbo Stream, remember the day of a Triffids TV program?
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely remember it.
Oh,
vaguely.
you're so young.
I'm only 2 years younger than you.
Yeah, but those type of things aren't really in your wheelhouse, are they?
No.
No.
I was Knight Rider in 18. Ian says, Baby Shark the song. Look up Murphy in a Brick song. So funny.
Oh, God.
I
don't need that to get stuck in my head.
In the Navy, sharks are called dum dum fish. Dum dum. Dum dum. Dum 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 dum. Reminds me of a shopping trip we did once, actually. Do you remember that?
No.
When I went up the aisle with a trolley after, going da 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 da.
You do really stupid stuff in supermarkets, but lucky you stopped doing that now.
That's because we don't go to the supermarket together anymore.
That's a good point, yeah.
The Korean couldn't harvest all these shark fin melons. A few of them were up my pear tree.
So dodgy.
I really, these shark fin, as daunting as they sound fascinating at the same time.
Can we not pay the Korean gardener to grow us one? Or that we could buy one off him? He does all the hard work and we'll buy it.
I think Brian's garden is up north, way up north for us.
Well, we just get DHL to deliver it.
Yeah. Oh, your dad's moving to near that sort of area. So perhaps when your dad moves, we could.
Oh, we'll just use their garden.
Yeah. Don't tempt me. Chili Phil, Kate has done a great job. I've been really busy lately, so not around to help her. Soon be time to put the shed in. Yeah. No, Kate really has done well. So really good round of applause. I really must come down and see your allotment at some point as well. And if you need hand with that shed as well, that might be a good time to come down. It's never easy when your partners are busy. I mean, and this is no offense to Amanda. Amanda very rarely helps me in the garden, and I like it that way. Or the allotment, but when I do,
option on that.
No, but when I do need her, she does get stuck in.
Usually with hacking.
And she does sometimes get a bit too carried away if I don't get there.
Yeah, we've lost some bushes that we weren't meant to have lost.
Stuart says, please don't sing the baby shark.
It's already in my head.
No, we won't. Digwell says the fruits are only 9 inch or so. So the stalk, it's the stalk that is massive, the vines. Yeah. So, yeah. They should grow up okay. They're just very, very big plants.
I really want one.
I bet the most popular search on Google at 1930 will be shark's fin melon. I'm thinking where I probably could fit it in our garden.
Our garden?
Our garden, yeah. If I'd put it in the right place. I mean, that butternut squash has taken up quite a large chunk of the vegetable patch area this year.
Well, it could be tit for tat for the stuff that's growing over our fence. Might suddenly something starts growing over the other side.
Yeah. Turbo Stream, imagine growing a shark fin melon 30 floors up. Every floor gets a melon to eat. Yeah, I mean, I know it is quite big. It's got a lot of people chatting about this shark fin melon now, hasn't it?
I know, I want to Google it now.
Jenny says, thank you, Digwell. Maybe make some sort of dent under a wooden frame for them to grow up and over. Fun for the kids and me. Turbo Stream, I need a mandarin in my garden. It needs a good hack at the moment. Too much time on my allotment. Isn't that always the way? If you've got a garden allotment like ourselves, I find that I concentrate on either the garden or the allotment a bit more than the other. The other suffers for it. So we got to balance it out to try, and then when you sort of finish one or not finish, but you get it back to where you want it, so you concentrate on the other, and then the other one comes back into that bad. Yeah, it's difficult managing two.
And you thought getting a puppy in the mix would be a good
I
idea.
know. Yeah, Margaret Peacock says no. We cannot grow shark's fin melon. Luckily, Margaret, I wasn't thinking of your
No.
garden at all.
It's okay.
We were thinking of my mum or Amanda's mum, and I think Amanda's mum is going to be the best place because she has a gardener. You think of all that compost material that shark's fin melon would produce. That's where I'm thinking it'll be good
I
for.
think she'll go ballistic.
Yeah, of course she will. But that's the fun of it with your mum.
You just have to say that you're her favourite son-in-law.
Exactly. We have a 100-yard fence which we could grow it up. If this is for school, Stuart, just go and have a look online before you do actually grow it, and check with your school, because it does get really, really big.
They won't notice.
It does get really, really big. Just before you do it. But I'm happy that we can contribute some seeds to the cause if needed as well. Well, we've got about 5 minutes to go of this show, so it's been a good conversation. Actually, I like these ones that we never really know how the conversation is going to go. I'm just bringing up my notes so I can check I've gone through everything.
There's no baby shark on there.
One thing on my list are things that I haven't mentioned. You will hear more on the podcast tomorrow and the video that goes up this week. Last week, we dismantled a greenhouse at my step-granddad's, me and my brother. This week, I got the frame actually built. It took longer than I thought it was going to be, but we got it built on the allotment, and haven't put the glass in just yet because we don't have enough glass, what with the amount that broke. But that is built and it is ready to go. Really happy with it. And two of these, two greenhouses on the allotment, a greenhouse at home.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. So, yeah, wanted to share that news with you. You'll hear more about that on the podcast tomorrow and in the video next week. So I've got several subjects on my list. I'm just deciding which one to do. I think I'm going to do the desert island subject. So this is a question I'm going to throw out there. You've got a week to think about this. What 5 seeds would you take on a desert island to grow?
The shark fin.
Shark fin.
Desert island should be big enough.
Yeah, so that's off to a good start already. I want from each of you 5 seeds that you would take to grow on this desert island so that you could survive and enjoy yourselves. 5 seeds should be an interesting subject. As you can guess, this is from Desert Island Discs, but we're mixing it up for that. And next week I'm going to be sowing some pak choi in the grow along as well on this live stream. We'll see how the spinach has got on next week, but pak choi is what we're growing next week. Ballysleen is already saying great topic, so very pleased about that. Thought it was a good one when I came up with it. So many subjects that I've got ideas for to go through. So as we finish this off, Ballysleen says next week's topic. Done that. Desert Island. I'll send the Brad's Atomic Grape Tomato Seeds soon, Richard. Yep, that'd be great. As for members, sing us out on the with Baby Shark. I'm not going to do it because you don't want to hear me sing.
You've got to just look it up.
Stuart Jackson says, I will check it out and talk to the head teacher. Hopefully it will be allowed. Yeah. I would just double check before you do anything. But if you are allowed, I think it is a good one to learn from, though. Idaho Garden Girl, I enjoyed watching your greenhouse video. Thank you. It didn't come out the way I wanted to. Excuse me. It wanted it, but you know how it is. Anybody that shoots a video, when you're trying to do a job and shoot a video, it becomes very time consuming. So what I wanted to do with that video didn't quite work out, but the time lapse and everything just worked. Digwell likes next week's topic as well. Jenny said, "Thank you, everyone. Cheer me up. Hope you all have a great week. Please stay well." Jenny, you hope you're feeling a bit better after this show, because I know you said you weren't well and may not last to the end. You've done well. Well done.
Well, that's because of the melon.
The melon, her melons. Baby shark.
Baby shark.
Desert Island, no rain. Because think about it. These all things to think about. Baby shark. The baby shark is coming in. Richard, you can grow shark fin melon on my field. It will get too big. That would be great, Ian. Actually, seriously, if we can grow it in your field, I would love to do that next year. That would be great. Absolutely great. Hargrave says, "Have a great week and have a good chat. I really enjoyed it. I think it's been really good, actually. Thank you, Amanda, for joining us and joining in the conversation and bringing a few laughs."
Well, I didn't contribute a huge amount.
You tasted the grapes. You added a bit of laughter. Yeah, no, it's been a good conversation, good chat again. I think we're going to wrap this up because it looks like everybody is starting to wrap away anyway. So you take care, guys. Back again next Sunday at 6, where Desert Island Plants. Desert Island Plants, that's the name of it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Let me set myself up because I haven't done it. No, wrong one. Wrong one. That's the old one. I haven't deleted it off there. Right, guys, you take care. See you again next Sunday at Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do.